there. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Jonas, you'll be on which microphone? Mic B or A? Try that one.
Like B?
It's not that one. I think it's that one. Try it.
B.
More? Yeah. You're on that one. Oh.
Now go.
B.
No.
You're
B.
already on TV and you're already on your show, so you
Okay.
better present, okay?
Okay.
Go. And here's
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Thanks, Veronica. Hey, welcome, everyone. Look, I'm just going to start off a little song here, my Jam Jar song. So good to see everyone out there in TV land and radio land. And, okay, so you'll be familiar. Now, every time I try and do this little Jam Jar song a little bit different, so here's another version for you. And we'll just gives Jonas, our guest artist, today a little bit of time to sort of, and he can play along with me once. It's in the key of D. Go, Jam Jar, Jam Jar. We're all listening to Jam Jar, Jam Jar. What a day, Jam Jar, don't go away. Jam Jar, Jam Jar. We're listening to Jam Jar, Jam Jar, Jam Jar. Everybody listens to Jam Jar. Jump and shout and talk it out. We're gonna let you shout it out. Jam Jar, Jam Jar. We're all listening to Jam Jar, Jam Jar, Jam Jar. We're all listening to Jam Jar. Oh, yeah. Hey, welcome everyone to Jam Jar, another session. Another month's just sort of gone by, like, I don't know, fairly quickly. Great to see you all. And we've got a special guest artist in the studio with us, Jonas Cockkill. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
got it. Right. Hey, so a big welcome to you, brother. And I've been hoping I could get you on the program, and it just happened that a day came up that you weren't actually doing anything else, because normally you're so busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to be painting the walls, but this is a very nice way to have a break.
Right. Okay, for those of you who are just tuning in to Jam Jar, we're a monthly program. I interview musicians and poets and artistic type people, creative, all the creative energy force that's in the valley. And little old Wairarapa, man, I tell you what, we are filled with creativity, no doubt about that. And that's what keeps us alive, I think, and keeps us going. So what's happening in Marston at the moment? There's, of course, there's the music club coming up on Thursday night. For those that want to be around to see what's going on there, we have all sorts of artists that turn up from. In fact, we've got special artists, some people turning up from Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt. I think Richard Tito is, Tito maybe, that's the correct pronunciation. He's coming over, and there'll be all the normal sort of artists, Bob and Kate, and we've got Bruce and Jim does a bit, and it's a really good night. So if you want somewhere to go and chill out and get some good food and music this Thursday at the Gladstone Inn. We'd be lovely to have your company. Okay, as you've probably heard, Turkey Red is no more. We had the last gig there a couple of weeks ago, which is a shame, but it was a good gig, and we thank Marilla for all that she did for the different musicians. You had a lot of artists playing there. Yeah, blessings on you, Marilla. Thank you very much for your input and supporting the Wairarapa music. And of course, we all wish you well in your ventures or whatever you're going to do in the future. Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, so let me again introduce you to Jonas. Welcome again, bro, to see you in the studio here. We've done a few things together. Now I'm just going to find a little bit about you. Of course, tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and why you're here, and then those sort of things. So I'll let you have the mic for a minute.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm originally from Czech Republic, but now I live in Carterton. And the reason is, there are many reasons.
Yeah.
But the main reason for me to come to New Zealand was just to travel.
Yes.
It's already 8 years ago. So I came to travel.
Yeah.
And somehow happened also. I was so attracted when I was here.
hear you.
Can I
Yeah.
go closer?
Yes, please.
Try that
Is
now.
it better now?
Yep.
Go.
Yes.
Go speak,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So what happened was that I was here as a visitor, and I traveled through New Zealand, and I was quite excited about going to see Pukaha,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and that's the only reason why we drove through Wairarapa,
Right.
and so we traveled, and we actually were camping by the river. And I had no idea that one day I will be living next to that river. It happened now, so I live in Carterton now.
Next to the river.
Yeah, well, not far from there.
Yeah.
6 kilometers from the place where I was camping, and I was sure I will never see this land anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then mostly the Maori songs, Waiata,
Yeah.
were so deeply in me that I just felt I have to come again.
Absolutely.
So I came again and met my partner,
Yeah.
who I already saw before. So
Yeah.
we start to be connected.
Yeah.
And since then, we just decided that.
Well, we're privileged to have you amongst us because we've got so many talents that you've brought to share with us, which is great stuff. And yeah, it is Te Reo National Māori Language Week this week, I think, which is great. So kia ora, all out there, and
Kia ora.
ke te pia koe, ke te pai. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's great that we can recognise, and I think even though we've got a long way to go. We're making a lot of inroads into getting the language freely spoken and in schools, and so it's a good thing, and especially when you get people coming from other parts of the world, and getting into the te reo as well. It's great to see. Yeah. So we brought up in Czechoslovakia. Whereabouts in Czechoslovakia? Is it a well-known city, or is it just a little town, or
It
what?
is quite well known. It's Prague. It's the
Prague.
capital.
Oh well, then
So I was
yeah.
growing up there.
Okay. And is that where you first sort of came across your musical abilities and your feeling towards what you're doing at the moment?
Well, yeah, I think my first musical abilities were already expressed in the belly of my mom,
Yeah.
because they were musicians. So I was.
You would have heard a lot of music.
I've probably heard. I got some talent for the rhythm there, and then over the years I studied, because in Czech Republic really everyone is a musician.
Yeah.
So it's very normal that children have 5 hours a week of the music with the theory in the
Right.
school.
Right.
Plus, majority of kids are going for we call it basic artist school,
Yeah.
where we really learn deeply, dive into the theory and learn at least one instrument.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I experienced there. And then when I studied the primary education, I got the possibility to choose some specialization, and music was very clear choice for me,
Right.
even though it was quite difficult. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do place a lot of importance on musical creativity in Czechoslovakia, like maybe similar to when I was in Norway. I came across schools where they were just specifically for people that had gift and musical abilities. They still did core curriculum stuff, but their main reason to be there was to learn either classical or whatever they were getting into. And so I think it's a good thing. I really would like to see that in New Zealand here, where they have schools that not only do music but actually cover core curriculum stuff as well, which is very handy, of course. But they focus on the ability to become a professional musician.
Yeah.
Whether it be playing to the general people or even using music as a therapy, which you'll be well aware of, which you do. I know you do work with. We'll talk a bit about that, because music has quite a profound effect on the human psyche, and tell us a bit about what you experience in that field there.
Well, I've realized that it has a very therapeutic effect on me. So when I had some quite sad years when I was teenager,
Yep.
it was very hard for me to relate to anything and anyone. But I knew that if I sit by my piano, especially when no one was at home,
Yeah.
I was quite shy to express things when people were listening.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I noticed that if my mom is listening, I love to play her favorite songs, to make her feel happy.
Yeah.
So when I was alone at home, I was just really banging into the piano and
Yeah.
screaming and enjoying the freedom.
Yeah.
Because I learned how to play the piano. It was the only instrument what I really learned, and I just found it as a amazing way of expression.
Yeah.
So I was expressing things what I was not even able to put in the words.
Right.
I was suddenly doing it with the piano, with the tones, with the chords.
Yeah.
I had no idea about the theory. I didn't understand the harmonic rules, but I was doing it.
Yeah. So it's a natural inclination, really. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying about that, especially with because when you're writing a song, I mean, I'm a songwriter myself, so I'm using certain chords to invoke certain feelings, whether they're minor sevenths or augmented flat fives. Sort of some of them have a real definite feeling, and other chords with them like major sevenths or like sus fours, they have a feeling of wanting to resolve something, and when it actually resolves, it's quite a good feeling up, you know. So and I looked at all that when I was doing my music. Especially in the line of music therapy, which I do work with kids, a lot of kids, as you know, and I'm never cease to be amazed at the effect that it has on some of the kids. The parents are sitting there saying, "He's quiet. What's going on? He's actually listening. He's focused. What's happening here?" You know, they just, you know, even the little singing bowls, for instance. When I go work with some kids down in Carterton once a week, they love to hear the singing bowl, and I play it, and I can play it for a good 2 or 3 minutes, and there's perfect sound. They just bathe in the sound, and it's just phenomenal. So you know, I'm definitely so pleased to see you here with all your instruments, not in today, but I know that you're doing heaps in the community. So you can tell us a bit about that, actually. What are you doing in the community at the moment with your instruments, and what have we got happening?
Well, it's many things happening. There are
Yep.
many things. And just little return to your question about the music therapy. It's quite important to clarify that I studied music therapy.
Yeah.
So I almost got the degree in Czech Republic, but because we started the association, I was actually needed to teach already. Okay. So I didn't finish the degree, and for that reason, you know, the Czech association, because I helped to establish it, they said, well, you don't have to, you can do it later, the education. Because now we actually need you to educate and do it.
Yeah.
So I did a music therapy with mostly individual with kids with autism.
Yeah.
And for quite a few years, and had a supervisor and had everything. But here in New Zealand, I officially don't have the education finished.
Right.
So, and people don't know how to call me, so people call me music therapist.
Yeah.
But the Association of New Zealand Music Therapy, they contacted me and recommended me to be music specialist.
Yeah.
So now I'm a music specialist.
I'm in the same category, really, because I did a little bit when I was in Australia for a while. I went along to a number of courses on using music as a therapy or as working with autistic kids, and actually in schools, even just in normal school normal, using music as a tool, if you like, to engender some sort of concentration or, you know, and so I'm in very much the same boat. Okay, so I think we should have some music myself. Maybe I could we could play some music together, maybe, but if you want to start off and maybe share something with us, talk about what you have today, because we're going to be really pushing it along. That's all right. So what we'll do is we'll just choose some instruments and have a little bit of a demonstration maybe of some of the stuff, which would be great. And then we could do some stuff together. I would love to do Norwegian Wood, because I can sing some of that, and that would be good. I'll come around the other side and they'll catch us on the same camera with a bit of luck. As long as they get you on the camera playing, that's the main thing. But yeah, it's so good to have you in the studio today, because
thanks for inviting me.
Really love what you're doing at the moment in the community. It's just it's great. Okay, so over to you. What have we got here?
Well, so I already showed when I was here last time, or on the other place, with Haley, or also with with Nicky King. So we were playing those flutes.
Yeah.
I can pass you one.
Yep.
I think you already know it from our Toy Tuesdays.
Yes.
So those are the flutes where this is what I use, and really the music, the therapeutic use of music. I loved. I traveled all around the world and learned about the aspect to see the music more as a vibration.
Yes.
So, for example, being part of the ceremonies in North America with the traditional ceremonies like the Sundance, where everything is about rhythm, about the drum sound, or the South America, some shamanic healings, where without the music you would actually not be able to survive. Maybe.
Okay.
So this is from my tradition from Slovakia, from Czech Republic and Slovak Republic, and it's designed a way that you cannot do a mistake. So whatever you will play will be right. You can play high pitch or low pitch. And if you touch the end of the flute, then
yeah. Yeah, you're right. So it must work on a I'm just trying to think. Is it working on a Eastern scale flat 7 or something? Is it or not? What is it? What scale is it working on?
I don't know it in English, but it's all tuned in D, and all my other instruments I tune in D because of the sitar.
Yeah.
And so this is going in the harmonic scale. Let's say the first interval is 8, so it's
octave. Yeah.
Then it goes to the quint 5, then higher 4, lower 4, and it's
then squeeze.
As you go up, it goes really, really very. Like you cannot really measure it properly.
Yeah.
And all the songs which are played with those instruments are having the 4th step a little bit higher. So it's not da 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 da, but da 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 da.
Yeah. And they're almost like modes, actually, in a way. Similar to modes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so what else have we got we can talk about?
Well, we can
play something maybe. I think we shall. That's an interesting.
The other things.
Yeah.
Because as you notice, you can play the flute just with one hand.
Yeah.
So you can join. Or you can play, for example, with the drum, or any other instrument. So the thing what I do here in Wairarapa is that I have about more than 200 musical instruments. And when I started, because it was so difficult to explain to people what it actually is and how great effect it has. So I was just doing it for free, donating sessions, doing it publicly, and luckily, in the meantime, I was doing the relief driver for the courier companies and different kind of jobs just to do something else. But it was very quick. It's half a year ago when I first time opened my website.
Right.
And since then, I was actually not able to even update the website because of the response. So many people want me to come to their schools or preschools. Now we do this intergenerational play groups with Lucy Adlam, with the Wairarapa intergenerational play groups.
Right.
And many musicians, as yourself, invite me to play along with them.
Yeah, it's great. Are you still doing Aratoy?
I'm not sure. Like, this is Tuesday, so I will do it today.
Yeah.
But already 2 or 3 weeks ago, I actually ran out of the funding. Mm-hmm. So I got generous funding from from a Mastodon District Council.
Yes.
From the Art Fund.
Yeah.
And it's everything what they gave me already was used for the sessions.
Okay.
So I will do it tonight, but I'm not sure because I applied for the next funding.
Next funding, yeah.
I'm not sure if I will get it or not.
Okay, we should encourage people to maybe give a bit more generously. But that's cool. We just see what happens, I guess. Hey?
Yeah. Come tonight and
go with the flow. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what else have we got we could look at?
Then we have those very interesting chimes.
Yes.
So this is what I use usually for the ending on the sessions.
Yeah.
It's perfectly in tune, and imagine if we have the full box, like I have about 50, maybe almost 60 pieces. So this is something what calms everyone down.
Okay.
Are
they tuned to D as well?
Unfortunately, no. This is in G.
In G.
Yeah. What we very often do, sing with it, improvising, or even some viato.
It's amazing how how easy it's sort of it's not forced anyway. It just seems to happen and make itself available.
Yeah.
I like the spontaneity of that whole thing. It's great.
Yeah, that's the point. That's really what I try to do, is to push people behind their boundaries, behind their not really push, but offer and so show the way that there are instruments where you just hold a string.
Yeah,
that's all. You don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to be stressed about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can share the vibration.
Oh, absolutely. That's wonderful. Now I'm interested in. I know that you play sitar, which is, I guess, basically an Indian instrument in origin.
Yep.
And I'm interested in how a Czechoslovakian lad got hold of or was inclined to go into that area. Was it part of the musical journey when you discovered it, or is it anything specific about sitar and the tones it produces that drew you into playing it? I don't know whether I've voiced that question fairly, but you know what I'm trying to say?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember when I first time heard the sitar, but I just was always fascinated by look of it and also by the sound.
Right.
Because the sound is just totally different from anything else. And I think that sitar is one of those instruments which, if you hear it, it just really takes you, it just gives you the transmission of the culture.
Yeah.
So it's the same if I hear Kowawau, Maori flute, if I hear it anywhere around the world, I would suddenly appear on the beach in New Zealand with the fern trees above me. That's what it does.
Straight there. Yeah.
If I hear the hammered dulcimer, which is traditional very much in Moravia and part of Czech Republic, I start to be sort of homesick. I sometimes cry because it is just such a deep transition to the music and to the landscape where I was growing up. And I think that sitar has the same quality in towards India.
Absolutely. No, I know that a number of musicians, that well-known musicians, jumped on the bandwagon, so to speak, like George Harrison, for instance, the Beatles, and experimented with sitar. And I'd actually never ever heard of sitar before George Harrison started playing and put it in some of their songs. And I was always impressed, and I remember looking into it, and that Eastern scale, which I think is a flat seven, is actually, it's like when they play the bagpipes, right? And they have a drone underneath it, but the tune that's played over the top of it actually uses the flat 7 scale, which is an Eastern scale. So the bagpipes and such actually weren't a Scottish instrument initially. They came, I think, from India, or that area Eastern rather than Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scots picked up on it, and of course just worked it through, and it became synonymous with kilts and everything else that goes with the bagpipes. It's a great instrument. But I remember reading about the flat 7 scale, which is the Eastern scale, and it always impressed me. And I used to fiddle around with it sometimes, and so you get a nice drone sort of, so you can do nice vocals with the harmonies and thirds and the film, whatever, and then have some thinking going over the top of it. I very, very loved it. Yeah. Shall we play something?
I can play the sitar.
Yeah, play the sitar, and I might come round. I'll take this off. And I'll give you a bit of. Can we get that? Can we hear that? Let you tune up for a minute. See if I. And I'm going to bring. Still going off mic, but I'm here. So I'm coming around now.
We'll try this way.
Here. We should be able to do it. If I just come in here like this. I'll just put it here. Should be alright. If I'm in tune here, I think it should be.
Well, it takes about about half an hour to tune the sitar properly.
Yeah.
And I gave it about 20 seconds. So.
So how many strings are there actually? I'm going to move back to the microphone over here.
Yep.
How many strings do they actually have, Jonas?
Well, it should have 20 strings, but today we have about 18.
Okay.
Because I take all those instruments to all my sessions.
Yes.
So even if I see that there's someone careful in preschool, I sometimes give it even to the kids in the preschool.
Right.
And even if they are careful, sometimes just those strings are breaking.
Yeah. Well, it's it's a fairly, it is quite a precise instrument, I guess, and it's quite delicate, really, the way you've got to be handled the right way, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
So just I know this is an odd question, but are they difficult to play? In a dexterity way, is it, you got to have, is it quite difficult?
Yeah. So if you want to play in a classical Indian music style, you have to actually practice for decades to play. If you have the approach what I have, which not all people in India really appreciate, but all the people in West, I think they do.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Which is that I just tune it in the open chord. It is already tuned in the open chord,
right.
But it's a lowered C sharp.
Yeah.
Which no one really wants to play with me if I tune it that way.
No.
Out of India, in India, everyone tunes that way.
They want to play, yeah.
So it's tuned in D.
Stick to them. A, D, or G. Can we give me a C chord? It'd be great, even better. Yeah. But who knows?
I can go down to C.
Yeah.
But then the vibration of the instrument is not so good.
So
it's better to go a little bit up. So it's in D. Yeah. And I tune exactly the same way all the other instruments. So the flutes are in D. some tuned drums are in the mandolin, guitar, ukulele, banjo, all those Indian harmoniums, shruti boxes.
Yeah.
It's just all really ready to be used for the band, which can be 200 people who never played music before. But with this way of preparing the instruments, we can actually all really play together and not do any mistake. So
Absolutely.
That's the exciting thing.
Yeah, and I was quite impressed. Some of the sessions that I attended at Aratoy, I was impressed how everyone actually picked up very quickly and got into the groove of what was happening. Especially kids, young kids, and the parents that I spoke to said it was amazing the way they came home and all they could talk about is I actually played it because it sounds, it's, as you say, it's hard to actually not play. Hard to play out of tune in a sense, but it's more to do with picking up on the rhythm and the vibe of what's happening, and they fitted very well into that whole arena of what it's about. So I was very impressed with how it happened, which is great. Shall we play a song together with the mandolin maybe?
The mandolin is totally out of tune.
Is it? Okay.
It will take a
few seconds. Yeah. Let me just check on the time here. Oh, we're going well.
Yeah.
We're doing all right. Is it tuned to G or is it?
It's supposed to be in D.
Oh, it's supposed to be in D.
Or I can play the banjo. That's easier because
that'd be.
That's the other beautiful part of the story, is that people know about what I do, and people just donate the instruments. So I got this from Wayne when I was delivering to, what's that place, Audition Stevens?
Yes.
Yeah, so we were just chatting, and he was like, oh, maybe you can use the banjo.
Yeah.
So I have a banjo, it's missing few strings, and it's tuned very different way than it's supposed to be. But it fits with all the other instruments that I have. So what song do you want to play?
That really nice Czech number that you do that I really liked. You did it to Gladstone in that time. Czechoslovakian number that you sing in Czech. And I think it was to do with maybe sunrise. Can you remember it or not?
I can think about a few thousand songs.
A few of them. I don't know what it's called. So, but any song, I'd like to hear a number in Czech if possible, because I'm sure the listeners would be and the viewers would be impressed to hear something from where.
I should shift back to sitar then.
Yeah. Okay. We can do the banjos. I can just stay out of the way with the guitar a little bit.
I usually play with the guitar or with the piano when I'm singing.
Yeah.
But
okay.
It's out of tune again. But let's pretend that it's all right.
Yep.
So it's actually just D, nothing else.
Yeah.
frajarka je moja frajarka. Ona nie zatančí, ona nie zatančí. Po ránu na šáši, po ránu na šáši.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I can see what you mean about trying to keep the sitar in tune. It's pretty, it's pretty, must be subject to all sorts of temperature changes or being moved or all that sort of thing. Yeah.
I found it exciting that it's actually a very personal thing to tune. So if you have a sitar, it pushes you to not be just the performer, not be just the guy on the stage.
Yes.
But actually really take your time and learn, really deepen your sensitivity to the frequencies.
Right.
And
Yeah.
And just find the joy in the tuning, not just in the performing.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a good teacher.
Excellent. Okay, so you've got obviously here for the long stay. It looks like. Have you been back? Have you been back home since you've been here, or not? You've been only visits.
Actually, I was always spending half a year in New Zealand, and half a year in Czech Republic, and on the way there is India. So
Right.
I sometimes even, like last year, I was in India twice on the way to Europe and back.
Right. Yeah.
And my partner, she is Canadian.
Yeah.
So if we go the other way around, then Canada is on the way.
Yeah.
And I have many friends in United States and South America. So
Right. So
once we leave New Zealand, it always takes time
to get around
come
back. Yeah.
And I spent I did so much work in those all the other continents that I didn't do much in New Zealand. I always, when I came back here, I was much rather working on the permaculture garden or doing something easier.
Right.
And not being very public.
Yeah.
And this winter, which just ended, I didn't notice the winter, by the way. I was still getting ready.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't really.
So that was my first winter in New Zealand. I'm very happy it was not cruel.
Well, you obviously like it here. That's for sure. You seem to have found a niche. And the people, I always, when I go away, I'm always pleased to come home. This is, and I have background Swedish and West German and all sorts of different, and Scottish, of course, on my mum's side. But I think that's the thing about Kiwis. They're a pretty mixed sort of mixed breed, with some with a lot of some with Maori background and some with island and Celtic sort of thing. So there's a real potpourri, or if you like, a brew of all sorts of cultures going on.
It's quite a soup.
It's quite a soup, yeah. But it's good. There's definitely what comes out of there is a Kiwi culture without a doubt. There's some that are definitely into their rugby racing and whatever, but there is a strong connection with people. I think have a real profound feeling about music and their ties to the earth and what it means to be alive and be able to be part of everything that's living and breathing. And the vibration, as you talk about vibration, for me, find that incredibly important. Life itself it's based, music itself is all based around vibration, and it can be a real tonic without a doubt. Okay, so how do we get now? Let me see. So you're doing some schools as well.
Yep.
Some schools. What sort of reaction have you had in the schools with
excitement?
Yeah, they obviously love to play the instruments, and
it's very difficult for me to do the session.
Yeah,
I love to do it, but it takes about 4 hours if I count, that I have to drive somewhere.
Yeah.
I have to load all the camper van full of drums and full of all those instruments.
Yeah.
Then the session is sort of like a treat for that work.
Yeah.
That I just enjoy, but I try to do it longer than 1 hour.
Yeah.
Because there is really potential. I can even if I do it for the weekend,
Yeah.
I sometimes do the weekend workshops or even 1 week camps with
Yeah.
the music.
Yeah.
It always feels too short.
Too short. Yeah.
So in the schools I try to have 75 minutes at least, and I just introduce the instruments as quick as possible, show how to play it, then give some free time to actually everyone can try everything. And then we start to do drumming together and do some like a drum circle methods, some music therapy games, interactions, and then playing as a band.
Yeah.
And relaxing on the end because it's wild.
Yeah, and every session is different, I guess.
Totally.
There's never anyone that's exactly the same.
Well,
there might be similarities, but I mean, it still has built its own unique, I guess, what you take out of it.
I believe that as I bring the instruments with different vibrations, we all bring ourselves with our inner vibrations.
Yeah.
And so even if we are the same group, if we have a different mood, it just totally changes the music.
Changes the whole thing, yeah.
And spring makes people to play more like energetical music.
Yeah.
In autumn, it's more meditative.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful way to observe it and be in tune with what's actually going on. In the present.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Now I'm going to take this point in time to thank Dan Broughton. He's our sponsor for this program.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I really appreciate it because without you we wouldn't have a program. Wairarapa Web Design, that's Mr. Broughton there. He's in Carterton. I think he's still in Carterton. I must call him and see you, mate, and catch up. But we do appreciate your support, and obviously, as I said, we wouldn't have a program without your financial support, so we appreciate it. And if anyone's looking for web design, out of the extraordinary web design, he's a very talented guy, is our Ben. Be sure to either get him on the website, just Wairarapa Web Design, or drop in to see him. He's in the middle of the main street there if you're going through Carterton on the left-hand side, and he'd be more than happy to have a talk to you and put you on the right track. Okay, I think we should play some more music. I'm just wondering what we can do. What haven't we played yet? Was there anything we haven't actually heard?
We didn't play the Sansula. Just move the microphone a little bit.
Okay, because I just checked the time here. We've got about 10 minutes, which is good.
Yep.
So what have we got here? Oh, these look rather
this is
interesting. Oh, we like those.
So it's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
I have a full banana box of them.
Yeah.
I really had to invest a lot of money to the instruments because it's a special music therapist instrument. So always when I come to New Zealand, I am totally. I have empty pockets. But full suitcases of instruments. And the magic about this instrument is.
Yep.
I'll try to move this the way that if you lift it up.
Oh yeah. Wow. So
that's not good.
Yeah.
So it's again the instrument where you can try to play.
Yeah, right.
Whatever you look will be right.
Hold on, I can get that. Yep.
And if we have a bunch of them, then the whole group can play and sing, and whatever they push will be right. And they are different in tuning. So your one is major, and this one, if I play all, it's minor.
Oh yeah, I see.
So you can hear the difference.
Yep. Flat third. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, beautifully made, aren't they? Where are these actually from?
They are inspired by the are inspired by the traditional African and Indonesian instruments.
Yeah.
But it's made in Germany by the music therapists. Yeah.
Well, it'd be fairly precise with, because we know what the Germans are like for getting things pretty correct, eh?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, it's beautifully made. I mean, that's just, you know.
And if you do the music therapy, you really want to have a perfect vibration, as a clean vibration, clear vibration.
Yep, so that
it's very useful.
Absolutely.
But much more, I'm now impressed by traditional Maori instruments.
Yeah.
Because of it's really more about the vibration as the sound of the high tide, you know, with porotiti or of the flutes.
Yeah.
Sounds of the birds, sounds of the forest, and that I think that really connects us more to the landscape and really connect us to the ground, and that's very needed.
Yeah.
And the same the language, as you said.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tereo weeks. I love to study. Or I try to study. You know, I go for the classes here. Whakaoriori Marae, do you call? And the deepness of the understanding, the deepness of the meanings.
Yeah.
The connection of different words into one word. It's just very inspiring. Very inspiring to actually stop, calm down, and see that something what we understand, what we take as a normal thing, is actually pretty magical.
Yeah. Well, true. Yeah. I mean, the Māori language is definitely has a lyrical sense of when they talk about te marama or they talk about tānei or the forest and the birds. It has a magical sort of ring to the whole thing, without a doubt.
I actually used some words.
You know,
now there is a, you know, we are expecting a baby in December.
Oh, then.
And so I decided, or I didn't decide it. It was just clear I have to write a song.
Yeah.
So I tried to do massage as often as possible to Katie, to my wife.
Yeah.
And sing the song.
Yeah.
Which is in Czech mostly, welcoming him and describing River Mangatarere and the mountains and everything.
Yeah.
And it's really great that I managed to implant there words like Papa Tuanuku.
Oh, yeah.
Or its ending Všechno je v pořádku, which means everything is all right.
Yeah.
So on the end I sing everything is kapai.
Kapai.
Harimai.
Yeah, harimai. That's a good song, there.
Yeah.
There's a song that's like that. Did you know that?
I know that.
Harimai. Everything is kapai throughout the lane. Yeah. Yeah, well, I grew up with all those songs, and my dad being connected with his connections with Māoridom, and wonderful times, actually, when I think, as a kid, when you bathe in that environment with singing, a lot of singing and harmonies and instruments, ukuleles, steel guitars, drums, all sorts of things going on. And when you're a young kid, I mean, you can get it better, really. I mean, as far as those are the memories that I have. My dad was a musician as well, so, and my mother was classical pianist. But my dad was a bit more down to earth, more into guitars and stuff like that. But it had a profound effect on me as a child, and especially I knew all the Māori songs, everything from Hoki Mai to Mehe Manureri and.
So did you grow up in New Zealand?
Yeah. Takapidi wahau, you know, tamata wakatangi ngā ka au pokai tamatea whenua ki tana tau, you know. Think back to some of those times in the maraes when we sit in the corners sneaking out because it's bedtime, way past bedtime, we'll be out sitting around there watching, so we didn't want to miss anything. But those early days were really special. And I'm just hoping in some ways that Māoridom can, especially some of our youth, I fear for some of our Māori youth today. Some of them seem to be quite divorced or lost from what is important with their Māoritanga and their heritage, the background. And I'm really hoping that we can draw them back into feeling good about what they are and who they are and their.
I'm not sure if it's our job. Like I think we
can provide the environment for it to happen. I don't want to. the move, I think anything like that has to come from within the individual. Otherwise, it's and it lacks the, you can't force people to do things. They've got to be motivated to rise to the occasion themselves. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of just a twinkling, just to touch something. They think, wow, and next minute they're taking hold again of, what is special and unique to the.
I think we are living in a great time when this is actually open.
Yeah.
And spending really many years in different countries and seeing, especially the past colonies.
Yeah.
I'm really amazed how it works in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And when I was I was interviewed by the students at UCAL. They were just asking me about my culture.
Yeah.
And then they asked me the question like, "What do you think New Zealand culture is?" And I came up with the answer that I think it's as you describe it, as a brew. It's a mixture of very different directions, very different influences coming together, sharing and being quite respectful, I would say.
Yes.
But with very generous umbrella above it of the Maori culture and of the wisdom of really the whenua, the
whenua of the land. Yeah, exactly.
And
absolutely,
I just see it very positive, and I can see that it's not just becoming to be in, probably to be interested in such things, which is not a mistake, and that we are learning. The Te Reo classes are full of people of different colors and shapes and beliefs. But we feel that we should know because that's the local thing.
Absolutely, it's an ongoing just a journey, and it's exciting because it's any journey. There's no end. You don't see the end. Look at the end of when's it going to finish, because it doesn't. You just immerse yourself in the journey at the time and just take aboard what you need to take on board. And they're very special, very, very, very special. Getting back to the music thing, yes, because we have. You've played a lot with other musicians from time to time. I know that Dr. Rob seems to grab you and get you up on stage. It was really good the other night. We played where was it? In Greytown, at the Workingmen's Club. It was a really interesting night, and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves. Well, it was good to see you up on stage playing. And
I actually crashed the string 10 seconds before I went to the stage. So the whole instrument went totally out of tune. But no one obviously noticed. Everyone enjoyed it.
I didn't
no
hear,
one
but
complained.
I did hear, but I didn't. But it was okay. It was what it was. It was partly more the energy and what was being given out to people that was really important. And Pat got up, my mate Pat McKenna. We did a little sort of a set with a sort of rocky roll stuff because people were in the dancing mode, which was great. It was an interesting night, and it was good to be part of it, So, but in the future there'll be lots of things that obviously that are coming up, and you'll be obviously part of them as well, because we're always looking for new artists, new sounds, and people that have got things to offer. And the listeners and the viewers out there, if you want somewhere to go this Thursday, I think this goes to air tonight. But this Thursday we're back at the Gladstone Inn for the Ruamahanga River Music Club. I think that's what we're called. And there'll be artists and musicians from everywhere. In the radius of I don't know. Some are coming from Wellington and the Hutt. Some are coming from Upper Hutt. We've got musicians that come from Woodville up that way. So it's a pretty good collection of people getting together. This coming Saturday is a thing run by, I think the guy's name might be Peter Jackson, but not the Peter Jackson, another Peter Jackson. And it's one of the churches down there. Is it St. David's or St. James? It's in the main street as you're going out of Masterton on the right-hand side. I'm just thinking, is it St. James? There's a music thing happening there if you're interested in playing or being part of a nice little afternoon of music. I'm going to head along. I haven't been yet, but I've heard it's quite a nice little way to spend an afternoon. So that's on. Unfortunately, the Turkey Red, that's won't see music there anymore. It's actually closed the doors now, so which is a shame. But I have just recently been involved with some talks with Lynn Patterson, the mayor, and we're going to looking at putting some musical things happening, and especially coming to the summer months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're coming up to wrapping up this program, so I'm just going to sing, play my guitar. Maybe we could have some sitar and myself.
And can I also add a few
You can.
invitations?
Yes, you can.
So there is every Tuesday in Aratoi,
Yep.
hopefully, and then this Saturday we will also do there will be the Snake Creek concert in Aratoi.
Oh yes, I heard about that.
So we'll play there with Rob and Grafia.
Yeah.
And also the other thing what we didn't talk about is that I established a men's group.
Yeah.
Just nothing official, but
Yeah.
that's happening on Sunday. So if anyone wanted to join,
Great.
it's a growing volunteer initiative. And
Excellent.
It's very exciting.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on our program.
Thank you for
Great
inviting
stuff.
me.
I've really been looking forward to it, and we finally managed to get you here, and which is great. So we're just going to go out in a little tune here, listeners. So, ka kite anō. I was going to say pōpō, but that's tomorrow. So, but anō, whenever, later on. We'll just finish with something in D, maybe. We'll do the jam jar sort of little exit, so it goes. Now is the time for us to go. Now is the time. It's the end of the show. Take care out there, take care out there, take care out there, take care out there, and love. Thank you, listeners. Great stuff.
Kia ora, this program is brought to you by Wellington Access Radio. Wellington Access Radio, make your voice heard.
No mai, haere mai, this is Town and Country Aotearoa, and this program is for the week commencing Monday the 3rd of September 2018. Now if you're listening on a Monday night, you could be listening to the host station, Wellington Access Radio, or Country Radio Dunedin, Country Radio Gore, Country Radio Invercargill even.